Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, Christy. Thank you for being here, Christy. I'm glad you're going live. This is just terrible. Thank you guys for being here. You guys have no doubt seen the news, but Charlie Kirk, conservative activist Charlie Kirk, and founder of Turning Point USA, has died after being shot during an appearance that he was making in Utah. And first things first, I want to send condolences to his family and his child and his wife. He is somebody that on a very real level occupies a space that I also occupy as somebody that presents and commentates and postulates on politics and the future of this country. Obviously, we disagree on a great many things. We're on opposite sides of a great many things. So I have a lot of disagreements with Charlie Kirk about the content of what we do. But it has to be of concern for anybody that's in the political space, regardless of what position you occupy. But certainly when the deceased occupies the same position that you do. Now he's a much more visible figure, which I guess is credit to the work that he's done on the right. And so I think that is something that anybody that's in my position, a lot of the people that you guys like to listen to will have to contend with the reality that this is somebody that occupies the space that we occupy. See a lot of the comments in the chat, and I will say that please don't say anything that would get you in trouble. I asked Ray earlier today, and before he had passed away, after he had just been shot, and about how to handle it. And one of my reluctances to go live is, presenting a platform for people to say things that might get them in trouble. Because keep in mind, we've seen the vice president and the president speak out about this. We've seen the cabinet members speak out about this. And under the guise of trying to, tamp down political violence, or whatever the case may be, political threats, whatever the case may be, we understand how partisan that can be. and how unjust that can be. So I say, you know, don't say or do anything that would get yourself in trouble. That is what I'm saying to you. A couple things come to mind with this and my reaction to this. If you look at what was created in Turning Point USA and the kind of crowds that he commanded when he would travel to universities, which we've also seen on the right with Candace Owens when she traveled to universities and would speak. And my mind goes to what exactly has been, what exists in that space on the left? What has been created to counteract that, just politically speaking? The kind of machinery that's been created on the right wing. When I get here and I talk about the gap of communication, you know, because you know there's two sides to a lot of the propaganda and rhetoric that we see. One side is people making cases in bad faith and being disingenuous in doing so, but the other part is the unbelievable machinery and apparatus that is at work that amplifies this stuff. And on the left side of the aisle, if you feel like you are on the right side of history and you feel like you are doing right by the American citizens and you have a level of faith, like true faith in what you're doing and what you're trying to present to the American people, if that's not popular and that's not being received by the people, well, that means there's a problem in the delivery. That's what that would mean. And so you have to look at things like Turning Point USA, and the kind of like the right wing blogosphere and how they operate when it comes to trying to get the message out on the left side of the aisle. The other thing that comes to mind about this is, you know, I happen to be on Twitter, like right when the right when all this went down. I was actually preparing to record content, and I was using comments that were on Twitter. So I was like on Twitter, and kind of saw it bubble. You know, I kind of saw it bubble from the very beginning, to the point where I thought that it was. I didn't know that it to be. You know, I didn't run with it because I was like, this is some X stuff. You know, that was my thought. So I happened to be on X, and pretty quickly after I kind of started to see it bubble up, I started to see, you know, to the point that I just made about communication apparatus, propaganda machine, to the point that I literally just made, I started seeing photos of the older gentleman on the ground, which I don't know. It says source assassin still on the loose. University where shooting happened says suspect not in custody. So I don't know what that photo was that I saw, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, I'm sure, have seen it too. I don't know what that was. If apparently the assassin is still on the loose and the suspect is not in custody, I don't understand that part of it. But I haven't been back on X. I had to flee. I had to flee X for my own sanity, because very quickly, this was being targeted towards liberals. Very quickly, this was being targeted towards liberals and the left or the fascists and any manner of nonsense. And it's the same exercise that we saw when the politicians were killed in Minnesota. The exact same exercise. It's the exact same exercise that we saw after Butler. It's the exact same exercise we saw after what happened at Trump's golf course. It's the exact same exercise, rinse and repeat. Doesn't seem to matter who the target is, and it certainly doesn't seem to matter who the suspect is. That propaganda machine will be targeted and aimed at people on the left. This is despite how, by and large, people on the left and progressives and liberals feel about gun restrictions, gun ownership. This is despite the many examples of rhetoric beyond the pale that we hear from the top down. None of that matters. Remember that whole thing I just said about making arguments in bad faith and being disingenuous from the top down, right? So as far as like where things go and how we move forward, I'm extremely concerned. Now, granted, I should probably say this too. The fact that this is the reaction, regardless of the specifics of any given case, the fact that the reaction is the same would mitigate thinking that any one specific instance would be especially, that reaction might be especially bad. The reaction is the same way all the time, to the point where I was talking to somebody about an hour ago, before the news that Charlie Kirk had passed, and they were saying, I hope he lives because we don't want to inflame the people on the right wing and create a potential martyr situation. And I said, that's true. That's what we said about Trump. That's exactly what we said about Trump. And ultimately, it didn't matter. They created a living martyr. So I have to be like, very concerned in moving forward because of how these things are framed, how people on the left are being framed, and how the political rhetoric is being framed. Truth be damned. Truth be damned. And honestly, truth be damned is, I could start a series of videos called Truth Be Damned. That's what Who Raised Y'all is all about. And Racist of the Week is all about truth be damned, okay? I could start a whole series called Truth Be Damned. But when we're talking about violence, when we're talking about people losing their lives, well, then truth be damned becomes quite an albatross around the neck of society, now doesn't it? That becomes quite a problem. because there's no defense when truth be damned. There's no exonerating evidence. There's no, how do you argue with truth be damned? So I'm like simultaneously, bracing for the right-wing reaction to all of this, while at the same time lamenting that it wouldn't have mattered who it was on either side of the gun. That was going to be the reaction, which is quite a contradiction, to be honest. It's quite a contradiction. How we get to a place of civility, is that the word you want to call? How we turn the temperature down. Honestly, that's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one because, you know, if I'm going to have some integrity about this, I have to be honest about the ramifications of a lot of the things that we've seen come out of the administration. And my, you know, insistence in recent days that it can't just be about, you know, these one specific individual people and holding them accountable for this agenda. You also have to look at the people that are enabling this agenda and make more people accountable for the pain and suffering and deaths that result. So I don't know how, you know, political rhetoric is one thing, right? I don't think I need to sit up here and say, you know, don't lob threats at people. You know, that's not typically what we talk about. But political rhetoric is one thing, but I don't know how you turn the temperature down. You know, how do I turn the temperature down on a group of people that have been targeted? Pick one, by this administration and having their lives, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness destroyed, or having their families torn apart, or having their livelihoods taken away. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, a kind of maybe a more a simpler example of this might be when it comes to families that have had that have been separated and torn apart politically. And, you know, we've had political differences since the beginning of this country. What makes things different now, right? In the MAGA era, what makes things different? And if I'm being honest, I myself feel differently about people. Like I don't think I ever had my social circle or friend group or acquaintance group, whatever the case may be, affected by somebody being a Republican. I don't think that's ever happened before. But in the MAGA era, that's been different, even for me. The kinds of things that have been said and the kinds of kinds of things that have been done. I mean, we're going on 5 years of a MAGA presidency. Longer than that when it comes to just the era in general. We're going on 5 years of MAGA presidency. So the stuff that's been done, I don't know how you turn the temperature down on that, you know, if we're being honest. And we also know that just by virtue of the responses that we have seen from the right wing, there seems to be a very intentional amplification of tensions. They're not ratcheting down. I would be pleasantly surprised if that's what I heard. I don't know exactly what's been. I got the 4-box on right here with all the news channels on. I don't have. I mean, do I want to turn the volume up on Fox News and see what's being said? I can say I don't know what's being said on Fox News. I can say that. I've not. The volume has not gone up on Fox News. I've been, just for my own peace, I haven't turned the volume up on Fox News. So maybe they are trying to ratchet it down. I would be pleasantly surprised, but maybe they are. I have to give them at least, you know, y'all have to let me know, anybody that's been brave enough to go over there, if they are trying to ratchet down. But I don't think I've ever seen that from them. Okay. Welcome, Loretta. Welcome. Welcome to Mitchell. Welcome, Mitchell. Buzz 703, condolences to his family. I'm not going to miss him. All right. How do you feel about the right potentially making him a martyr on their right-wing political values? Funny you should ask that, Phil. And I love that you go by Broke Phil. Funny you should ask that, because as I said earlier, I don't think they necessarily needed for him to pass to do that. I think that was, you know, I don't think they necessarily needed that. It's actually not unlike the video that I posted earlier today about Tomo and the kid that was opening the Pokemon cards, where I said, I think 3 different times or during the course of that video, they didn't need a reason to be racist. These people did not need a reason to be racist. So I don't think they needed a reason to do that. You know, I do see this update. Trump orders flags at half staff for Charlie Kirk. Biden was president. Wasn't Biden was still president when the politicians in Minnesota were killed, correct? I believe Biden was still president. I remember there being a whole flap about was it because Jimmy Carter passed a couple of days before the inauguration and he didn't want the flags to be down for Jimmy Carter? Isn't that what happened? I'm going to read these. People should ask what he wasn't supposed to say. Now, Lexi, did you mean, what was it that he said? That he, you mean what was it that Charlie Kirk said that he wasn't supposed to say? Because my understanding of at least this year is that he's really been in lockstep with the administration and the president. I think there was like a brief separation with Epstein, but he got on message and began to toe the party line. So I don't know. I mean, y'all have to hit me to that if there was just a road that he was going down that would have been threatening to the power structure. I don't see it. I know more recently he'd been talking a lot about black criminality. I know that was like his most recent beat was black criminality out of Charlotte. That certainly wouldn't have been something that they would have objected to. I'm not celebrating it, but I can't pretend to be sad either. Condolences to his child and wife, though. Thank you, Swack. I appreciate that. Kirk was divisive in his political stance. You're not, Reese. This is getting way out of hand in this country with political violence. Now, Shay, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your comment. And I would hope that I'm not divisive. Obviously, there are people that would argue that I was just by virtue of them disagreeing with my stances on things. But that doesn't make it necessarily true. But, you know, I would hope that I'm not divisive. I think there's a very difficult line to walk. Actually, let me say this. So during my live yesterday with Foreign Man from a Foreign Land, and shout out to Foreign. During my live yesterday, we were talking about the diaspora wars, right? And one of the things that he said was, ask yourself who's being helped by it. Who does this serve? Ask yourself, who does this serve by seeing a segmented Black populace, right? And that's a point that I want to explore more in my content, is talking about beyond the Black population. Just who does it serve to have the population segmented, period? To have the population segmented by these random culture wars, by pitting this race of people against that race of people, by pitting women against men, by pitting, straight against gay, by pitting Christian against Muslim. Who does it serve, right, to have the population segmented the way that it is? Now, as a member of a disenfranchised group in African Americans, I feel, I can't speak for everybody, but I can tell you, I feel simultaneously a level of anger at being targeted in the way that we consistently have been targeted, and also a disappointment that this segmentation and who that segmentation serves isn't more apparent to more people and more groups. That more groups don't see the game that's being played and stop playing said game. Unfortunately, those two thoughts are very hard to hold in your head at the same time, because think about MAGA FAFO content, right? Which I've done a lot of it, right? Think about MAGA FAFO content. I feel like I am righteously and justifiably angry at you finding out what in fact it is that you voted for. At the same time, we need people in more groups to come to these realizations and stop buying into the segmentation that comes from up on high, so that we can actually reach a critical mass and have real opposition. Right? So to your point about being divisive, it's a very difficult line to walk. You know, I came up with the opening to Races of the Week, I think like a year and a half ago. Maybe I should update it, but I came up with it for a specific reason where I said, I'm trying to explore the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. In hopes that showing just how stupid and hypocritical this is, we could diminish its efficacy moving forward. I don't know if that's happened, but that is my stated goal. That is my stated goal, and that is my way of trying to walk that line, you know. Loretta, thank you very much. Thank you, Loretta. Thank you. Grandma loves you. Welcome. Thank you, Grandma loves you. Caddy Kitty. Thank you very much, Caddy Kitty. I appreciate you. Thank you. Cammy D. So MAGA created this violence. We keep taking it. Where's my phone? Oh, it's in my pocket. Okay. So MAGA created this violence. We keep taking it and being civil to tamp down their violence. This is an abusive relationship. Well, Cammy, I believe that is why the goal of trying to turn the temperature down has been fruitless up to this point, because it can't be one side. Right? It can't be. That's when you negotiate a ceasefire, you have to get both sides to agree to a ceasefire. You get one side to agree to a ceasefire and the other side doesn't agree, and they get mowed down. Like, and then they will respond. So I think that's why it's been ineffective up to this point. Because you know, it's very dangerous to take X to be, you know, real life. It's not nothing, but it's definitely does not defining. We understand how many bots and how manipulated X can be. So you can't necessarily go by X, but that's all I've seen from the right wing. I haven't been like, again, I haven't turned the volume up on Fox News, so I don't know. Y'all, hey, I don't want to turn the volume. I'll go to, I don't want to turn the volume on Fox News. I don't want to, no, because I'm going to get mad, and I need to stay, you know. And I'll say this too. before I go on. Oh, well, first of all, Teresa, Reese, you're the right person to speak. May God bless and keep you. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. Thank you. There's something that can't be, that should maybe be mentioned too. I might have a little bit of naivety about the way politics used to be. I can tell you I'm an elder millennial. Okay. I'm a child of the early 80s. My memories of, like, my real memories of politics really start with Bush Sr. That's kind of like my real memories of politics. I remember I used to open up candy that had like little messages, just say no, from the Reagans, but I was too young for the Reagans. But I might be a little naive because having grown up in DC with relatives, neighbors, friends that worked on Capitol Hill, and being around politicians from when I was a kid. And granted, we were Democrats, so we were around a lot of Democrats, but we were around a lot of Republicans too. I have a lot of pictures of myself with Republicans, like as a kid. And I didn't know them to be any different when I was a kid. I might be a little bit naive about the way that politics used to be. And granted, there was some wild stuff going on back in the day with Reagan, but we not talking about Reagan. But I might be a little bit naive about the way that politics used to be, and so maybe I'm taking this turn that way. And coming from a place, I could be coming from a false reality of how politics used to be. That's possible. Everybody has to come from somewhere. That's my thought of how politics used to be, is just like a really boring and tedious process of incrementally moving society forward against the headwinds of people that liked it the way that it was. That's kind of my idea of what it used to be. And it's that didn't engender this level of vitriol. Now, that's not to say it never did, because there was the 60s. But I wasn't alive for that. So that's not to say that it never did. But at least, my true north of politics in the political world is like the 80s. Marissa, no one mourns the wicked. Charlie's part of the reason we are where we are, and I have no sympathy for him. Thank you, Marissa. I appreciate that. Diva Journey, Reese, be careful of your security, protect your family. This was a powder keg waiting to go off. I'm not surprised. Condolences to his family. Thank you, Diva. I appreciate that. And that's where, as I said, anybody that's in this kind of position has to be concerned. I finally got my racist t-shirt today. Pictures will be forthcoming. Thank you, Raymond. I appreciate that. Make sure you send them to Miss Ray at admin@reesewaters.com. Thank you very much. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. Shout out to you, Larry. Snack Panther, sorry I don't aggrieve my oppressors. Understood. Thank you for that, Snack Panther. Mayor Meyer, welcome. Politics aside, RIP, prayers to him and his family. Thank you for that, Frederick. I appreciate it. Sorry, Charlie. Good grief. Thank you, Aaliyah K. I appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome, Bearcat. Lola, the world is insane. It is, yeah, yeah. No arguments here. You reap what you sow. Thank you for that, Michael. FJ Marcliffe, not mourning the death of someone who spent their life spreading hate doesn't make you a monster. It makes you honest. Respect is earned in life, not granted in death. I hear you there, FJ. Christy Brittleston, please take extra care of yourself and your beautiful family, Mr. Waters. I don't see things cooling off anytime soon. I have to. God, I don't want to. I have to. I have to see what's being said on that side of the aisle to like really get a gauge on things moving forward. I don't want to do that because of what I feel like I'm going to hear, but that's not fair. I do have to look at it and, you know, just to see, just to confirm that it is what we've been hearing. Almost like the lies, hate, and ignorance has made the chickens come home to roost. Stay armed and ready, my people. Crazy ones will react like buffalo. Yeah. Yeah. Warden, as I'm sure it was for you. Mike, welcome. Welcome. Pitting us against each other to me serves as more of a distraction method. No doubt. No doubt. It's a distraction method. I mean, it's rightfully genius to find scapegoats. It's evilly genius, I should say. It's evilly genius to find scapegoats that also have nothing and blame them for why you don't have more. And pit two people that have nothing against each other. But I mean, obviously, it's way more than that. It's way more than that. Not sorry for his family. His wife only had the same views. They're raising their kids the same. Hate begets hate. Not sorry in the slightest. All right, second team. I hope it's not a person of color who did this. We have enough problems. We don't need this smoke. Yeah. Agreed. His last words were gang violence and gun violence got him. His last words were gang violence and gun violence got him. We didn't create this environment and we shouldn't feel bad for their roosting chickens. Well, to your point, Tom, it is really about how many chickens there end up being and the ramifications for said chickens. To that end, Regina said, Benny Johnson and Loomer ramping it up and blaming the left. Charlie is a martyr. Yeah. Yeah. Charlie Kirk wasn't a thought leader. He was a tool, a useful one for those who profit off division and hate. All right, FJ. All right, CIV. Again, y'all be careful in the comments. Y'all, I see a scroll of 6 p.m. officials give update on Kirk assassination. So y'all know Streets is watching, especially now. If we seem to be crowing loudly at his passing, it's out of acknowledgement that some chickens have finally come home to roost. Hey, Sean. Goshen, thank you. Thank you for that, Goshen. I appreciate that. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Surely the National Guard is on their way to Utah. Good one, Marie. Kitty Muse, law of attraction and what you put in the ether returns. Big love to Miss Ray and the Mod Squad. Oh, absolutely shout out to them. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. So yeah, much love out to them. There you go again with that elder millennial, more like a baby Gen Zer. You're in there with me, bro. I'm definitely not a baby Gen Zer. I can tell you that. I'm definitely not a baby Gen Zer for sure. Miss J, thank you. If you are a recipient of Miss J's memberships, show her some love in the comments. You're a class act, Reese. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Welcome, Cammy. Welcome to Waste. Welcome. Sarge, will this be the catalyst for more horrific things? Well, Sarge, it looks that way. The signs that I'm seeing look that way. At the same token, prior to the news breaking that he had been shot, I was preparing a video about the Supreme Court co-signing racial profiling in Los Angeles, with the understanding that any tool that law enforcement affords themselves, they're not going to give back. And we know that any tool they afford themselves eventually gets weaponized against Black people. I've been working on a piece about everything that happened in DC, with the 30 days in DC having been elapsed, with him saying that now he wants to go into Chicago next. Who knows what that whole plan is about him going into Chicago and what all of that is about. And we're still waiting for, while we start on the Supreme Court, I'll end on the Supreme Court. We're still waiting on them to weigh in on whether or not they will honor the Voting Rights Act, like at all. So, and also, we've seen wall-to-wall amplification of the stabbing in Charlotte on right wing and on, I have to spend some time as I prepare my videos on various social platforms. So I kind of see what's, wall-to-wall amplification of that, right? So, Sarge, I can tell you that based on my read of how this has been processed and how these things have been processed in the past, yes, it seems like it will be the catalyst for more horrific things. But to quote myself earlier in the live and in my earlier video, I don't think they needed a reason. I feel like horrific things. I mean, there were horrific things this morning. somehow we're still going to be blamed for it, and they will use him as a martyr in some way. Yeah, that is I don't know. I think that I think this really shows what the cost of losing the communication, I don't want to call it a war in light of somebody dying, but like, I think this really shows what the cost of being so behind when it comes to rhetoric, communication, and propaganda that the left is. This shows the true cost, because if your true desire is to tamp down on the rhetoric and get a hold of civility in our political discourse, you don't even have the ability to do that. You have the ability to say that, right? But you're not controlling any of the levers that push and pull what gets promoted. You know? So that, I mean, it's infuriating often, but you know, a time like this shows the real cost of it. In my 60s, trust me, politics used to be better than it is now. You could be a liberal Republican or a conservative Democrat. We've gone into a really dark place in the last 10 years or so. I remember when platforms was just for elections. I remember when platforms was just for politicians prior to an election. Outside of an election, you just can feel the way you feel about a great number of things. And you choose which candidate most closely aligns with your beliefs, or at least shares those that are most significant. Now, we exist in a platform space all day, every day. We're all in a platform space. And if you deviate from the Republican, MAGA, or Democratic progressive platform in any way, well, they'll just throw you right in the trash now, won't they? You can't we see that. You see that with what's going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can't care about Epstein too much. She forgot to switch. We cared about it a lot, and then she forgot to switch. So she didn't switch. So we ready to throw her in the trash because she didn't switch when we switched and decided we didn't care about it. People just don't exist that way. People just don't live that way. You're supposed to have a variety of different opinions about stuff, but we made it completely unnatural so that we can turn it into sport. Okay, Crystal Cove, Kirk 2023. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-giving rights. This is a prudent deal. It is rational. Is it? Thank you for that, Crystal. I care for Charlie and his family as much as he cared for Palestinian kids. Salam from Uzbekistan. Thank you, ZP. Why are you acting sad for a devil and a white supremacist? I wouldn't say I'm acting sad for a devil and a white supremacist. I'm concerned about where we are and what comes next. And on some level, as I open this piece, on some level, not on some level, on a you know, he is the opposite in the stuff that he says, and the stuff that he believes, but he's exactly the same in the function that he serves. He's a political commentator. So if a person that goes and talks about politics is killed for doing so, that's going to concern me. And as much as I feel like I disagree with a great number of things that he says and find them to be personally offensive, they are people that would feel that way about what I do. And they should. They should. Not that I feel that way about what I do. If I did that, I wouldn't say it. No, they should, because I wouldn't say it if I didn't feel that way about what they represent. There was a school shooting in Colorado. Oh, wow. I did not know that. I did not know that. Okay. Thank you, Caroline, for that one. That would be something if there's a whole school shooting that is getting ignored today. Hold on. I'm going to look that up. Okay, I looked that up and a bunch of old stuff came up. So I have to look into that. Thank you, Mr. Reese, for everything that you do. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for someone who spreads hate. Yeah, I understand that, Blue Skies. I understand that. I am EDI EXP. Reese, you are appreciated. Thank you for your content. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. James, shout out, credit. Thank you for that. Kimberly, thank you. I think empathy is made up a new age term that does a lot of. I think empathy is a made up new age term that does a lot of damage. I also find the timing of this situation suspicious. I did see that he had said that about empathy, Texas. I did see that he had said that. I'm curious about why you find the timing suspicious. I'll have to go to the. Because definitely, if it was earlier this year, I would have felt that way. If it was during the Epstein stuff, I would have felt that. I guess we are still doing the Epstein stuff, so maybe that could be what you're referring to. Definitely next year, for sure. Around midterms, I would definitely have felt that way. We are treading lightly because we don't want to incite them, folks. One would hope this nation will ever take this nation's true threat seriously. Well, thank you for that, Duval County. I would say, in light of, when I have something to respond to from the right wing, then I will. But I haven't dug into that, so I don't have anything to respond to that. But we know that the administration is going to utilize this. We've seen them have very few guardrails in what they will and won't do when it comes to criminalizing and being punitive to specific groups, whoever they decide to target. We've already seen, we already saw the blast that they're going to have the flags at half staff about this. And we also know that they are in charge of our security and defense apparatus, intelligence apparatus. So when I tell you, be careful in the comments, you think I might? Brownie, thank you, Brownie. I appreciate it. Thank you. Lingus, God forgive me, but I can't seem to care. I want to, but I can't go there. Sad thing is that it will get worse before it gets better. Take care of yourself, Mr. Waters. Thank you. Thank you for that, Lingus. Thank you. Bruh, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Lord, they might even try and blame South Park creators for this. Remember, they used Cartman. Remember, they used Cartman to mock him a few weeks ago. Yeah, it wouldn't. You can't put anything. Nothing is off the table at this point in time. Allegedly, they arrested an old white man that claimed to be a CIA sniper. That's who shot Charlie Kirk in the neck. I guess, is that photo that I was seeing? I guess that's that photo that I was seeing everywhere that they had already dubbed a liberal boomer on the right wing. With literally, bro, this is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying. It gets me so mad, but then, my anger also has to go to how far freaking behind we are when it comes to this kind of stuff. They had this man dubbed a liberal boomer, and they didn't even know his name. They didn't know who he was. Welcome, David. Welcome, David. That 5 paces, 5 paces. Welcome. Or maybe spaces. Let's see. Why feel bad when his family thinks the same? JW. Well, I just don't want to be, well, okay. Thank you. I appreciate your comment. Why is everyone so shocked when Americans support people carrying guns? They do. They do. Mm-hmm. They sacrificed Charlie to distract from. I wonder if that's what they were getting at earlier about the timing being suspicious. What's this comment? The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. This is from Trump. No one understood or had the heart of the youth of the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he's no longer with us. I couldn't finish reading it before. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, Kirsten. Whoever got Kirsten's gift, send her some love. Stacy, he died doing what he enjoyed, spewing hate. But Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes are looking into private security. Oh, Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes looking into private security. He died for Trump's America. Thank you, Stacy. Apparently coming from outside the country. We got a couple pounds. I think Michael was sending pounds too. Wait, is that pounds? Or is that euro? Hey, I'm old school. I'm going to call it pounds. If Mom call it pounds, I'm going to call it pounds. Whew. Why are we required to be respectable? Kirk celebrated the death of Black people in the hands of police. Chickens have come home to roost. I don't think anybody is requiring that you be respectable. I don't think anybody's requiring that. I am, what I am saying is the Don't say nothing to get yourself in trouble. That's what I am saying. The roosting is upon us. Actions meet consequences. This is sadly what it comes to. We are just getting started. I hope not, Kimberly. I definitely hope not. Let me see what they're talking about. Hold on. I just want to see. Oh crap! Why does it keep doing this? I just want. Oh gosh! Why did it do that? I just want to see what's being said. Why does it? Oops. All right. Well.
And was a figure that was around.
Let me see what they're talking about.
Quite a bit down there in Mar-a-Lago.
That's right, and also he was so young, as are so many of the officials.
Welcome, John. Welcome, John. Welcome.
They are.
I can say, I will say this.
Passionate about conservative. In the way that Charlie was, he animated so much of that generation, and
I was pretty surprised when so I got this little the little YouTube TV, and they're not paying me to say that, believe me. But I got the little YouTube TV split box with the 4 screens, right? And so I got CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and I don't know, NBC News or something like that. It used to be BBC. I guess they kicked BBC out. That's like some new stuff because BBC used to be there. But I can tell you, the first time I looked up and saw cable news covering this, they all had it at the same time. And how long ago was that? That was like 2 hours ago or longer, 3 hours ago. They have all been on breaking news for the whole 3 hours. I think MSNBC I think has run like some other stories during the course of the 3 hours. But I don't think Fox News or CNN has. I think they have been on this steadily for the 3 hours, which I'll be honest, I wouldn't have predicted. I would not have predicted that. Now I don't know if he would have passed immediately, maybe they would have been off it by now, or if there wasn't new news, maybe they would be off it by now. But I think the combined him being shot and then him dying has made them stay on it. I don't know, but I'm surprised, honestly. That wouldn't. So maybe it wouldn't surprise me that Fox News is doing this, given that he was a right winger, and I just saw them go wall to wall with Charlotte yesterday or 2 days ago. So that seems to be what they do. Maybe.
In Chicago, Garrett, thank you. Let's bring in former New York Police Inspector of Customs contributor Paul Morrow. Paul, you're down.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not even going to finish that. It's clearly being taken very seriously. To your point about us just getting started, Kimberly, if this reaction is any indicator, then maybe not. You read what you sow, stand by, because Fox is going negative. Right now, they're just in news mode right now, is what I see. I turned the volume up because I actually wanted to see Like I've been up here for like when did I start going live? I don't even know when I started going live. But I've been saying we'll see how they react. I was like, well, let me actually see how they react. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome. Welcome, Duval. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, Greg. Welcome.
Or somebody who drove to the school.
May Charlie Kirk's soul rest in peace. I don't identify as conservative, but I try and love everyone despite their political views. I don't think anyone is doing themselves any favors by dancing on Charlie's grave. Yeah, I would agree with that, Lindsay. Thank you. Thank you for calm water in a chaotic storm, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Going through all of that to see if there's something there.
Charlie Kirk, the grifter, once said, empathy is a new age concept that does a lot of damage, and now I'm a monster among the uneducated, because I don't care.
Video, still photos, saw something that's going to be really important here. The key is organization.
That was the whole quote, Jello?
That's led by a strong commander. My understanding is
right now they're likely running it. I had heard the empathy one. And I think Elon Musk said something about empathy too. Love your show, Reese. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Thank you.
There is a press conference. There is some reporting. There may be a suspect.
It's hard to have empathy for someone who thought we were second rate.
Vice President Al Peterson is in touch with President Tennis.
I understand that.
And we'll hear from Governor Cox. Turn the time over to
the authorities still searching for the suspect. That's wild. Authorities are still searching for the suspect. So who was that on the ground?
Hello, everyone.
Hold on.
I'm Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. Today, at approximately 12:20 Mountain Standard Time, political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot in an event at the Utah Valley University. He was taken by a private vehicle to Timbernogas Hospital, where he later passed. The Utah Department of Public Safety will be co-leading this criminal investigation to find this killer, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We are working in unison with the County Sheriff's Office, the local police department, and the University Police Department, all of which have been very cooperative and fully engaged in this process. Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zinn, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect.
Wow.
He was not an accurate person of interest. However,
wow.
He was booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department.
Beverage companies making American products with American workers in America's hometowns, creating good-paying jobs, the kind that require only a strong work ethic, because we believe in the promise of America and the people who make it great.
Our tip, Vienna trip.
You would make me
non-stop
watch
to Vienna. Book now on Austrian.com.
Incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips and other information. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the FBI, we extend our sincerest condolences to the family and friends of Charlie Kirk. Our thoughts are also with the people who witnessed this traumatic event. We know that what you experienced was very difficult. Our thoughts are with you as well. As soon as we heard about the shooting, special agents and personnel from the Salt Lake Field Office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside with our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get that information out to everyone. I know there's a lot of questions. This is very much an active case, and this investigation is in its early stages. We are following all the leads and all the evidence. If anyone has any information, please report it to the FBI or local law enforcement. Thank you. On behalf of President Tuminez, who we've been communicating with, and she's on her way back right now, I say that on behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family. We grieve with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy. He was invited by the student group Turning Point USA to speak on our campus. We firmly believe that UVU is a place to share ideas and to debate openly and respectfully. Any attempt to infringe on those rights has no place here. We do not condone any form of violence at UVU and seek to make our campus a safe place for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this dark and tragic occasion. I want to thank our law enforcement officers who are leading this investigation, starting with Chief Long and his response here with the UVU Police Department. We're grateful for your leadership and your team. And again, to the speakers that you've just heard from who are co-leading this investigation. I also want to recognize Sheriff Mike Smith, who has been an invaluable partner as this investigation moves forward. I've been in touch with President Trump, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We are completely aligned with our state and federal partners as we work through this case. Now, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah. Our nation is broken. We've had political assassinations recently in Minnesota. We had an attempted assassination on the governor of Pennsylvania. And we had an attempted assassination on a presidential candidate and former president of the United States, and now current president of the United States. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say can bring back Charlie Kirk. Our hearts are broken. We mourn with his wife, his children, his family, his friends. We mourn as a nation. If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere. I don't care what his politics are. I care that he was an American. We desperately need our country. We desperately need leaders in our country. But more than the leaders, we just need every single person in this country to think about where we are and where we want to be. To ask ourselves, is this it? Is this?
My name's Alicia. My family's health is so important to me. That's why we choose a nurse practitioner. My husband Paul thought he had.
I pray that those who hated what Charlie Kirk stood for will put down their social media and their pens and pray for his family, and that all of us will try to find a way to stop hating our fellow Americans. With that, we're happy to take a few questions.
The FBI director is posting that a suspect is in custody. I would just like clarification. Do you or do you not have a suspected shooter in custody?
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now.
That is not George Zinn.
That is not George Zinn. That is correct.
Are you still searching for an
So they got the guy's name.
Yes, we are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to the shooting.
Can you tell us details about the suspect being taken into custody, where, how long ago?
We cannot at this point, but we will get you that information when we can.
Is there believed to be a second individual involved in the shooting?
At this point, there is no information that would lead us to believe that there is a second person involved.
Can you guys talk about
do you want to talk about what we know there?
Yeah. The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing, but we don't have a much better description other than that. The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a fair, potentially from a roof, yes. A longer distance shot from a roof.
So to clarify, with the security camera footage you have and the person interested in custody, do those stuff out?
That's what we're trying to decipher right now.
Did FBI or DHS have anything on instruction?
I'll just say that the investigation is ongoing, and as soon as we have further information, we will be sure to release it.
Any indications of foreign intelligence?
As of now, I can't comment on any of that.
Can you talk a little about the security of the event itself? Who was there security-wise and what happened on these kind of events?
So my name is Jeff Long. I'm the police chief here at UVU, and I'll tell you right now, we're devastated. We're a small police department. We have a very large campus. We have over 40,000 students, and we love our students. We love our visitors, and we're devastated by what happened today. This is the police chief's nightmare. I'm very saddened for the Kirk family. I know his wife and parents found out about this. You know, obviously he's away from home. He's here in Utah. They find out by a police officer that visits their home. That's tragic. Nobody wants that. But I can tell you about our venue today. This was an open venue. This was outside. We did have 6 officers working that event. We had probably over 3,000 people that were in attendance. It sat down in kind of a bowl area here on the central campus. We have a waterfall area, And so he was kind of in a lower area, surrounded by buildings. We had some plainclothes police officers that were in the crowd as well. We train for these things, and you think you have things covered, and these things, unfortunately, they happen. You try to get your bases covered, and unfortunately today we didn't. And because of that, we had this tragic incident. So we did have officers there. We had Charlie Kirk's team. He has a security team that travels with him, and they were here with him when he was shot. I'm sorry, see? At this point, I can't disclose that.
There was a question being asked about mass shootings. Was that person apprehended? And do you know who asked that question?
Say the question again. I don't know if I understand what you're saying.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, he was answering a question about mass shootings specifically. Was that person apprehended? And do you know who asked that?
So I definitely got
we don't have that at this
putting my notes down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have time for just one more question, so thank you.
Yeah, questions for the chief as well. Was it your team or Kirk's team or a combination of both that was set the security protocol?
So we work together. He has his team, and they do this all over the country. We all know that. This is not uncommon for them. They're very comfortable on campuses, and I was coordinating with his lead security guy, and so yeah, we were working together.
Was this a shooter type shot?
Ladies and gentlemen, those are all the questions that will be answered today. Again, thank you for covering this. We will be updating you as soon as we have additional information through normal channels, working with law enforcement. Again, our deepest condolences to the Kirk family and to the students who were there today. I would just ask everyone everywhere to please pray for their family and pray for our country. We need it now more than ever. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I got some thoughts. My first thought is if I were that situation about, I think they called him George Zinn. Is that the guy who had his photographed blasted all over everywhere on social media and called a boomer libtard for having been responsible for this? That disgusts me. That disgusts me that happened to that man. And I don't know how you put the toothpaste back in the tube, because we know they don't delete tweets. We know they don't delete tweets, no matter how problematic or weaponized they are. That really disgusts me, number one. One of the things that he said that I thought was worth responding to, where he talked about how it doesn't matter what his politics are. We all have the ability to, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And first amongst those is life, right? And we should all have the ability to express ourselves. And not have those things be threatened. Well, I agree with that. I agree with that. But those are things that are being threatened all the time because of people's views. Maybe not to at the end of an assassin's gun, but when it comes to their livelihood, when it comes to their safety, that of their family, those are things that we've been talking about all year. So is the line at like they can do everything short of that? Because that's the exact kind of stuff that I talked about here less than a week ago with the hypocrisy of the calls for free speech on the right wing. It's never about somebody's livelihood or somebody's safety. It's about their ability to be racist, typically. That's what undergirds their calls for free speech is their ability to be racist. It's wild to hear them talk about him having the ability to express himself, which I agree with. And that's why I took the stance that I took in that particular video. The stance that I took was calling them out for their hypocrisy and wondering where they are when we have these conversations about free speech. That actually is the one position since I've been making this content where I've agreed with Candace Owens. And you know I don't like to agree with Candace Owens. The one time I agreed with her was when she called out the hypocrisy when it comes to free speech. That part I find absolutely maddening. I'm glad he said it, but you want to keep it consistent and keep it a buck? You might want to tell that to the guy who just posted his condolences on True Social, who called for the flags to be at half-mast about the freedom of speech. Connected to that, I think this might be, I actually said this in a members video not too long ago, but I think my Libra is starting to show. Because in my mind, when I process things, I like to, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I cannot look at something in one vein and not make that the standard that you are setting in our world, right? I think it was on yesterday's live. I talked about how JD Vance is talking about, it's the best use of our military to, kill citizens, foreigners who are poisoning our citizens. That's the best use of our military. To which I said, so we want to have borders, but nobody else can have borders. You just go do whatever you want, wherever you want. But while you assert that we need to have strong borders, because you decided that they should get that penalty for the crime that you decided they had committed, then it's okay. So naturally, it must be okay then for a leader in a foreign country to draw that conclusion about some citizens of America and respond in kind, right? You see how absolutely insane that is? But that's what you're trying to float, right? So as it relates to this, the danger is in the same vein that there are people like me and people of a similar sentiment like me who find a lot of things that Charlie Kirk says to be abhorrent, has said to have been abhorrent. That cannot be an enabler for this kind of violence, because we know there are people who feel a similar way about us. We know that. We see it all the time. We talk about it all the time. Right? Were you talking about the lunacy of this MAGA or that MAGA? How naked the racism? We know that there are people that have decided that about us, right or wrong. I mean, I would say wrong, but the point is, that's what they've decided. That's what they think. So if it's okay based on what a single person thinks, then that's the world that we live in. And we all have to move forward with that level of fear. Now, I would draw a lot of distinctions between what I do and what some other people do when it comes to the kind of things that they incite, when it comes to divisiveness and things of that nature. I would draw a distinction between myself and some others. However, that's just my opinion. I think a lot of you guys would draw a distinction between me and others, but that's just your opinion. And there are going to be people who disagree with you. And that disagreement, that level of thinking cannot excuse what we saw today. Moreover, it would be the most, I haven't had a chance to look up what happened in Colorado yet. It would be the most America 2025 thing for there to be a mass shooting that's ignored because of political violence. I mean, that's just too on the nose now, isn't it? That is just too on the nose now, isn't it? You know? Also, I would add, and this really gets to the retribution angle, right? And where things go moving forward. So I got this news bag from CNN. Separate news. Whistleblowers in the FBI were told, whistleblowers in FBI that were fired say Kash Patel told them he had to do it because that's what Trump wanted. FBI Director Kash Patel had to fire agents to keep his job, according to a lawsuit. So we see the FBI director himself, according to that lawsuit, proclaiming that he had to do certain things and move in a certain way because that's what Trump wanted, right? Trump's retribution tour. We also know that given this partisan retribution that we are seeing from the Trump administration, that it has also been amplified with certain people and certain groups that he likes to target, which a lot of us happen to be a part of. Love your show. Thank you, Lisa. I think I scrolled back a little bit too far. Just called in sick. I know who my coworkers are. Oh, okay. I didn't get it. Now I got it, Rebel. Fair enough. Take care of yourself. Christina, thank you very much. Thank you, Christina. Sheila, thank you. Thank you, Sheila. Until MAGA hate rhetoric stops being normalized, this won't stop. I'll never condone violence. Taco and Miller are the only ones I will comment on. Kirk was an uneducated white MAGA male. Thank you, Jordy. I appreciate that. Use your words, people, not violence, please. Thank you, Ivana Tenko. I appreciate that. Thank you. Evergreen High School in Colorado, 3 in critical condition today. Another 13-year-old in Washington State has had his plot thwarted. Their rhetoric is doing this. So there was another 13-year-old in Washington State that had a plot, and you have 3 in critical condition in Colorado. Reese, I knew you would be the right person with the right words and what to say. Thank you for your gift. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you. I feel sorry for his kids and his wife. Thank you, Aracelis. Just wondering why everyone is sad and surprised at the same time. Wake up. These are the times. Check out Abs. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm surprised and not surprised at the same time, I would say. I mean, I'm surprised and not surprised at the same time. We'll stay there. The Frugal Reefer, welcome. Is that cheap weed? Is that what that means? The Frugal Reefer? Check out Cash Patel, FBI whistleblowers. I'll have to dig into that article as well. And thank you, Kristen, for hipping me to Evergreen High School. I will definitely look that up. The last thing Charlie Kirk said was about gang violence, and then he got hit by a white man. The irony. When did I post that video? When did I post that video? The last time there was a mass shooting, I don't remember what it was in response to. What was it in response? The last time there was a mass shooting, I posted a members video about in response to that. I should probably repost that one. I would point to that one in this moment. The purposes of the Second Amendment is for people of the USA to protect ourselves and the Constitution as written in the preamble. It's for the people. Yeah. Thank you, Abijah. Appreciate that. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I'm of the opinion that people can say what they want and does not deserve to be killed. At the end, agree to disagree and shake hands. Thank you, Emmanuel. Gudu, shout out. Thank you. Appreciate that. Please let him. Yeah, it will be a him, not be a black dude. Yeah. Yeah. I think they said that they had somebody in custody. I saw that scroll on Fox News that said that they had somebody in custody. We'll see. The purposes. The purpose of the Second Amendment is for the people of the USA to protect ourselves and the Constitution as written in the preamble, not for lawless murder. Thank you. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. The Frugal Reefer, thank you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. William Kirk was divisive, yes, but worth unaliving. Thank you, Denatra. Thank you. I appreciate that. We got Scott Jennings on CNN. That's a crazy programming decision right there. That's a crazy programming decision. Candace Owens won't be able to afford private security with her ongoing requirements. She'll be all right, Jules. She'll be all right. Yeah. She'll be good. Yvonne, welcome. Welcome, Yvonne. Welcome. By the way, there was a school shooting in Colorado today at Evergreen High School. 3 students and the loser shooter were injured. Yeah, I need to look into that. That is just insane. That is just, think about this. I'm going live on the day of a school shooting, and I don't have any information about it. Like, I was about a completely other thing. I mean, there's normalization, and then there's that. That's crazy. Thank you, Samantha. I appreciate that. Thank you, Samantha. I've seen the comments in some other streamers' channels, and there's so much celebration. It's really disturbing. Thanks for being civil. Andy, I appreciate that. That was one of my concerns about going live. I appreciate those of you that have been rocking. Motown Mimi, thank you. Thank you, Motown Mimi. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I have nothing nice to say. Anyways, Reese game. All good. All good. I appreciate that. Be calm. I'll take it. Would be nice to have gun laws. Yep. Yep. Most things I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And it will be interesting to see when that angle bubbles. If and when that angle bubbles from this. Sliced bread. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, sliced bread. Parkland, Washington. They have apprehended a 13-year-old with wow. Wow. 23. Wow. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Welcome, Miss Dree. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Charlie Kirk wouldn't care if Charlie Kirk died from gun violence. I don't know. I think Charlie Kirk would care if Charlie Kirk was Charlie Kirk. If Charlie Kirk was Charlie Douglas, then probably not. But I think he would care if it was Charlie Kirk. In the same way that of what I just said, about being in this spot at this time. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Anna, welcome. Welcome, Anna. I appreciate that. Barbara, Thank you very much, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. My feelings right now are, oh no. Anyway, well, yeah, Jensai. Thoughts and prayers with the victims of the mass shooting that happened outside of school in Colorado today. Agreed. Choosing his words very carefully. Reese, we know you're walking a fine line as it is from day to day, but when it comes to you and your family, you're absolutely doing the right. Thank you, TP. I appreciate that. 71% behavior. I think I'm catching that. Meanwhile, in Colorado, another white dude poo-pooed 3 kids at a school today. I think my sympathy goes to them. Understandable, Jensai. America is beautiful. Please do not destroy it. One love, peace. Thank you, Emmanuel. You know, a lot of us have been trying to work against that, but it would be nice to have some more cooperation. And you know, every incident becomes an inflection point in which that could potentially happen. Am I expecting it? Absolutely not. But it's possible until it doesn't happen. So we'll see. We'll see. Because I was just about to be like, let me see what they're talking about on Fox News right now. And Laura Ingraham is on. I'm gonna need hey, y'all pray for Miss Ray and pray for Regina, because they're gonna have to watch some Fox News. Because I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't even do it, dog. I can't even do it, dog. I can't even do it. I can't even do it. I need, somebody got to watch it. Somebody got to watch it and see what they're talking about. And I can't even do it. So, you know, y'all look out for them, because they're gonna have to watch some Fox News and tell me what they're talking about. Granny, welcome. Melissa, welcome, Melissa. Kristen, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Kristen. I appreciate you, TP. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for that, Mimi. Don't say things that bring YouTube police to this channel. Now's not the time. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kristen, welcome. Welcome, Kristen. I appreciate you for that. 3 kids were critically injured at Evergreen High School in Colorado today, too. How many of them care? How many of them care or are holding back tears or praying for those babies and their families? Oh, Lord, my last nerve. Yeah. Maybe through association with this, that might get some attention. It's certainly not now, but in my mind, part of this day will be finding out that there was a whole school shooting that I haven't even seen. I haven't seen a single report, scroll, anything on all 3 channels they've been on Charlie Kirk. That will have to be part of this day, at least for me. Cash Patel will find this guy. I doubt it. I feel like I did when Newt Gingrich died. I'm afraid of where to go from here. I support 1 Amendment rights for all. Someone love him. I love Black people. Thank you, Wes. Wes, I appreciate that. Tippy Toes, welcome. Welcome, Tippy Toes. Thank you to NNM. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Goldilocks. Hi, Reese and friends. Stay safe and productive. Will do. Will do. Denisha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Denisha. Welcome to Andrew. Welcome. Welcome. From a DC native who lives in California, the universe has a very karmatic sense of humor. Just came home. Was Shellen on? Was she at? I don't think I get that one, Cynthia. I don't think I followed that one, unfortunately. You think he quests on the credentials of the first responders and asked if they were qualified to save him? You got a face break, Defiant. Samantha, thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Raymond, I think you owe Defiant a half for that because he kind of got me halfway there, and you hit me with the biscuits. Henry Louise, thank you. Crystal, I can't take the high road on this one. Sorry. We need some happy news. I got a new kitten because someone abandoned her. She's adorable. Her name is Tina Dancer, after Tina Turner. I thought it was going to be Tina Dancer after Tiny Dancer, but fair enough. As Joni Ernst said, we're all going to die. She did say that, now didn't she? She did say that. Thank you, Poetic Justice. Welcome, Desden. Thank you, Renita. Thank you very much. Thank you to Alexis. Okay, Claude, I appreciate your comment. I'm not putting that up, but I appreciate your comment. I hope the 3 Black people that live in Utah were nowhere near that university today. Keep doing your thing. Agreed. Agreed. I'm generally pretty confident in moments like this in that regard, but after the NFL one, we had to take that one. So we'll see. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Daryl. Let's see. I Googled what some kids in Colorado were hurt today by a school shooting. It came up covered by ABC, NBC, Colorado Newsline, and The Independent. Okay. It's good to see, Ailey. It hasn't been on air, but I'm glad to see that they've been covering it. Holly, thank you very much, Holly. Thank you very much, Renita. Janelle, our society has come to a place where people are feeling like they're out of options to defend their rights and freedom. I fear this will hit a darker place before people see the truth. Stay safe. It's coming to a place where people are feeling they're out of options to defend their rights and freedom. Yeah, and I would say the desperation that's being created in some corners of our society by virtue of the continued degradation of the working class and the middle class speaks to that. So, welcome, Brick City. Welcome, Brick City. Hollis, I'm more upset at him possibly being a martyr. Understandable. I would say this, Hollis, they're going to do what they're going to do. So they did the same thing to Trump and he lived. So there's that. Denisha, welcome. Welcome, Denisha. Your thoughtfulness and decency is what sets you apart from the political discourse that emanates from the other side. Violence solves nothing. We know that victims are not always people with whom you disagree. Thank you for that, Mark. I appreciate that. I would add to that victims are also not always the people that you of which you have the most ill will. You know, I think the universe is a tricky thing because you know, one of the difficulties that I had in doing some of the content that I did, like Nottoway Plantation, like there's Nottoway Plantation that burned down, and then there was the one in the Confederate Museum that the tree fell on it, and that was a funny video. And then there was a fire that was here in DC. You know, one of the things I struggle with in making that content is it's still happening amidst a tremendous amount of suffering. Right. And so I don't want to all of a sudden equate the fates that befall some people with deservedness, because the unspoken truth of so much of what I talk about is the undeservedness of suffering here in this country. So that's always very tricky ground to navigate, you know. And again, I'm on my Libra stuff. I'm in my Libra season. So everything got to make sense. You know, everything got to make sense. That's not necessarily the case. That's why I did that content. But I did that content with that in mind. I did that content with that in mind. Nahomies, welcome. Welcome, Nahomies. Welcome, Renita. Welcome. Some of the 23 firearms the Washington kid had the other day were homemade long guns using 3D. Wow. That's madness. Jules, thank you for that. Kelly, thank you very much. Thank you. Recognizable. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. For Regina and Miss Ray, since they have to watch folks. I think Regina, I think it's going to fall to Miss Ray. Because Regina, I think, has a full plate, not to mention the fact that she got to watch Browns this weekend, so that's rough. I can't have her watching Fox News into Browns. That would just be, again, talk about undeserved suffering. That's undeserved suffering. I can't put her through that. So welcome, Dre. Welcome. Flags at half-mast for the injured children. That's a great point. Vibes Golf. That's a great point. There's so many different litmus tests for where we are as a society about that, and not getting any coverage about me doing a whole live, but yes, we're going to half-masts. And has he said anything even about it? It would not surprise me if they haven't even gotten a true social post. I don't know if they have or haven't, but it wouldn't surprise me. Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much. Release the Epstein files in honor of Charlie Kirk. something we know is not happening. Hi, from a Kamla voting Latino. She would have been so much better. I did see that news today about Kamla. Kamla, I guess, in her book, getting spicy with Joe and Jill. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing. I reacted to that news. I reacted to that news about Kamala going at Joe and Jill. Like when you see somebody wild out at the store, like, y'all see something? Y'all hear something? I ain't see nothing. It'll be all right. It's only $2 for a month of membership. Yep, in the Shallow Waters. Yep, Shallow Waters for a month of membership. It is $2. Jesse Waters is on one. You have to hear him. Is he on? I got I got Laura Ingraham on mine. Am I on delay? Or is he posting on social media? Oh, goodness. Here's my hope. Here's my hope. Will I be back here addressing right-wing response to this? I hope not. I hope not. People are going to wild out. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying people won't be out of pocket. But will it be get to a point where it warrants addressing? That will be a line of that will be a line. That will be a line. I hope not. I hope not. There was a plan from the day when you allow a man to campaign on hate and win. People don't read or look for facts. The truth exists in a vacuum. Thank you, Hard to Know. I appreciate that. Thank you. Michigan Mama. No one deserves that. His speech and ideology was vile, but in the moment he was hit, he bled the same as all of us. Be good to people, y'all. Thank you, Michigan Mama. Thank you. Appreciate that. Sweet Caroline, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And I would also add to, I have a whole second channel called Way of Waters. I have a whole second channel called Way of Waters about meditation and protecting your peace and trying to find higher vibrational frequencies to live with. And I will go with the feeling and the vibe that leaves me feeling the most free on the other side. Madam Psycho, welcome, welcome. Good vibes, welcome, welcome to you. The evil that men do lives on after them. The good is often interred with their bones. What will he be remembered for? Will it be hate? Well, that's pretty up to the right wing now, isn't it? That's pretty up to how they decide they want to respond to this. God, I can't stand Manny Johnson. He's on that. My busy life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kirk's instance remind me of the gas station scene in No Country for Old Men when the assassin asks, "What's the most you've ever lost on a coin toss?" I'm so terrible with remembering specific scenes from movies, so I apologize. I have to rewatch that. But I appreciate you, Nick. I appreciate you, Nikki, as always. Just like they said when kids are unalive in schools, thoughts and prayers. All right, True Core. Jesse is trying to light the fire. My wife and children. Prayers to the wife and children. He was racist. I don't understand how you celebrate him but pay no attention to the soldiers that have died since he's been in office. Those are heroes. This man was no hero. You know, I think similarly to the comment we just had about the flags and the kids in Colorado, that can't go over well. And your point is well taken. So thank you. I care for you too. You would hope that you won't be back on here in response to right wingers, but you know, like we do, you will be. Yeah. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Butterfly. I appreciate that. Alicia, thank you so much, Alicia. I appreciate you. Okay. I decided to get on here. I didn't know exactly what I was going to say or if I was going to even be here long. But I felt like it was important to try and have this space of reaction for you. You know, my kids got home while I've been on live, and I definitely want to give them a hug right now and give them some love. They sacrifice a lot during these times for me to be here, and you know, certainly in this moment, you just kind of want to be around that and feel that love. But I appreciate those of you that have shared your feelings, whatever they may be. I want to kind of be like I don't know. You know, I don't know. This is a very tough spot. I actually think that I feel similarly as I did the last time I did a live like this, which was in November. The last time I did a live like this was on election night, and there was a lot of questions about the future. Going into this administration, having already telegraphed the weaponization of all levers of government against leftists, progressives, Democrats, dissent. I didn't know what the future looked like at that time. Right now, as much as you know, Charlie Kirk is somebody on the complete opposite side of the political spectrum as me. You have violence being introduced into this commentary space, right? This activist space. And it could be the kind of thing where, as we heard from the Utah official, they decide to really reinforce people's ability to speak and express themselves freely. I don't have that expectation because of what I've seen so far from the administration. So I don't have that expectation. So that is something that has to concern anybody that does what I do or even does what you do, which is support and enjoy that kind of content. It should concern. But that being said, more will be revealed. And make sure you guys take care of yourselves and love on one another. And I will be back tomorrow. So be on the lookout for more content coming tomorrow. And hey, y'all be with Miss Ray because she gotta look at Fox News tonight. I see we got a couple more. I appreciate you guys. I care for you. Welcome. I care for you. Violence not the answer, Jonathan. Thank you. CC, thank you for taking the time to give us the space to have this conversation. Thank you, CC. Thank you. K. Charmaine, thanks for all that you do. Stay blessed. I hate to end on like a real end on that kind of note. Is it something? Can we end it on something fun that we can end on? Y'all got somebody change the subject to something random. We can end it with something random, some be fun. I tell you one thing that makes me mad. One thing that makes me so mad. You realize what video I was gonna post tonight, or if I didn't post it tonight, I was gonna post tomorrow. You know what's gonna be my next video? Literally one of my favorite videos I've ever. I recorded this video yesterday. And I said, this is one of them ones, man. Sometimes you like this one of them ones, and I cannot wait to post this, and I can't even post it. It can't go tomorrow. I needed some time. Y'all see Scott Bessant? Y'all saw that Scott Bessant news? Y'all saw Scott Bessant walking around Georgetown like Debo? Y'all saw Scott Bessant walking around Georgetown? Scott Bessant threatened to put the pause on Bill Pulte? Yo, Scott Bessant, and KD said, oh no, not again. Again. Because y'all remember when he was going to put the pause on Elon. I said, damn. Scott Bessant out here putting his hands. I said, wow. Scott Bessant threatening the two-piece Bill Pulte. Bro, when I saw that story, I had so much fun. I had so much fun with that video, making that video. I had so much fun making that video. I cannot wait to post that. But I can't post it tomorrow because he threatened to put his hands on people. Like that can't come the day after the Charlie. So I'm like, dang, Scott. So Scott gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to find something else to post tomorrow. But it can't be Scott. We gonna figure it out. Miss Ray said, but it can't read. Miss Ray, I don't think you understand. The thumbnail for that video is Scott Bessant saying, I'll punch you in the effing face. All right, that's the thumbnail. The thumbnail is political violence. Okay, I can't. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we had some real good, positive conversation here. You know, as Maria just said, love always wins. I feel like love, you know, in the words of Hurricane Carter, love's gonna bust me out. Love's gonna bust me out and all that. I can't post "I'll punch you in the effing face" tomorrow. That can't go. I'm gonna have to call. Oh, that is funny. All right. Angela said I need to see that video tonight. Anyway, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here. Much love. Shout out to the mods. This has been the heaviest mod job I think we've ever had. Not just because of volume, but content and nature as well. So Roberta and Kristen and Chernobyl, and I think I saw Deshauna in here. Much love to y'all, and of course to Miss Ray. Thank you to Regina. Also, be on the lookout for the newsletter. Oh, Lovely Nola. Sorry I missed you. Shout out to Lovely Nola. Be on the lookout for the newsletter. So those of you on Patreon, newsletter is out today. Shout out to Regina for doing that. And let's see. The fact that nothing changes for gun violence, including Kirk spending martyrdom, speaks volumes of our Wild West culture, RIP America. I'm wondering if and when that becomes part of the conversation, Rags. I'm wondering if and when that will become part of the conversation. Hunt funding for mental health, refuse to even discuss gun laws, and incite violence. Who could have seen this coming? Well, you know, the mental health thing is strategic. You know, that's only for certain. You know, we have to look and see who the perpetrator, the accused. We have to look and see who the accused is before we go with mental health. You know, everyone stay safe out here in these YouTube streets. Absolutely, yes, and absolutely, Lashana, Steeler Nation. We won, and the Reds won last night. Subject change. All right, shout out to y'all. That was actually a very good game. The Steelers and the Jets game was actually playing at the bar that I was at. That was a very good game. Hit the like on the way out. Yes, thank you for that, Kristen. Make sure you guys hit the like on the way out. Much appreciated. Monica, thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'm planning on a 2-video day tomorrow. So first one will be relatively early, so be on the lookout for that. But make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and much love to you guys for being here. It is very much appreciated.